when it comes to football, Europe is like the hub of football.
Yeah.
But Africa is also thriving.
In Africa today, there's almost no streets that you go to that you will not see a child holding football.
We have so many talents here in Nigeria that are waiting for someone to just come and harness it. But nobody, because we would rather trust those people that were groomed abroad. Just have talent. Yeah.
Your life with
All the companies in this world, the biggest people in this world, the people that had first class, they will look for you.
It doesn't make sense where we go outside, pay outsiders to come and play for our country, whereas we have talented, raw talents.
And sometimes they are so nonchalant about playing for their
nation. Yeah.
We need people who are hungry to actually play, and you see them in the grassroots level. If we can make our league look so beautiful, decorate it to a point where when someone comes, they don't need to ask question. How much is Enyimba? $1 billion. Take the money. Boom. That's what I want to see in our own local league here in Nigeria.
Hi guys, and welcome to Timeline. My name is Paul. With me here is
Jonesy.
And also we have the beautiful
Dearest, I'm back.
You're welcome, Dearest.
Hi, Dearest. Welcome.
Thank you.
You know, I've always said it. I'm going to give birth to someone that looks like you. But I don't know how it's going to happen.
That is so
really?
But just because we're sitting down together on this table, wait.
I could give you don't worry, I'll give you tips on how it can happen. Don't worry. See me after. So a quick one. I want to ask both of you now. It's a very simple question. I'll let you know if you're right or wrong at the end of the show.
Okay.
So how many sports are there in the world today?
Interesting.
Let me give you options so that's
All right.
Option A, 200. Option B, 8,000. Option C, 4,000. So what's your pick?
Oh, Paul.
Is there like a prize for the winner or like this?
We'll get to know after.
Okay. Can we choose two?
No, just one.
You say the first one is 200. The second one is 3,000.
8,000. And the last is
8,000. I'll be 8,000.
8,000.
Okay, 8,000.
Yes.
I'll go for 200.
Okay. What's your?
I'm tempted to go for 200, but let's
200.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So you locked your answers in, right?
But if I'm wrong, we'll not die now.
4,000.
4,000. Okay, fine.
Yeah, 4,000.
Fine. 4,000 final
Just
answer.
out of curiosity, yeah.
Okay, I'll let you know at the end of the show. Don't worry.
All right, cool.
So yes, just remind me.
What if the answer is not even there?
The answer is there. Trust me.
Oh yeah, no.
Sure.
Today we'll be talking about sport development in Africa. Sport development is very crucial in terms of social inclusion, economic development, and amidst other things. In Africa, where we have so many youths around in Africa, it's important that we include them through sports, and that's how we empower some of these youths. Today we're talking about how far we've gone in terms of sport development here in Africa, looking at how much we should expect in the coming years.
Oh, well, sometimes I just used to enjoy your voice and just I want you to keep talking and talking. But anyways, let's just talk about the challenges. Stop feeling yourself, Sha. Let's talk about the challenges that this particular issue we are trying to solve. One of the challenges is the poor infrastructure we have in Africa. And you see that infrastructures, I mean stadiums, the ground itself, chairs. You know, sometimes you go to stadium and you see that some places don't even have seats. Yeah. The particular place, that's the center of the stadium where the athletes usually stay to play their games. If you see the ground is not really well done.
The grass is not green enough.
The grass is not green enough. The place is not really that nice. So you see that instead of them to play their games in peace, they will end up, bruising themselves or, going with one injury or the other. So this infrastructure is one of the biggest challenge I feel that they really, really face.
I mean, there's with this joke of if Ronaldo should come and play in an African country and then he slides through the grass after scoring a goal, he's going to go for have injury.
That's actually a Drogba celebration where he slides and like, I don't think you want to try that in Nigerian stadiums or African stadiums.
Yeah, like because it's expensive. How the picture is more like
you might slide and never come back from it. You might slide to your doom.
Like 6 months injury, just like that, and then you're gone for like the next 6 months.
True.
And it's, as big as Africa is, right? It's to shock you that it's only one stadium that it's only a few stadiums has capacity above 25,000, and in the whole of Africa, the biggest stadium is in South Africa, and it occupies about 94,000 persons, right? 94,000 capacity. And so if we could just, we're talking earlier on before the show that as how Moshood Abiola Stadium and Emirates have very close amount of capacity. If we could just try to ensure that everything in the stadium, right, is just up to par, we can also compete with all of these people on the same level. And that thing again is in terms of limited investment. Unlike in the UK now, for example, I think that's one place where sports is like a really big deal, right?
Actually,
if you should look at it, they spend so much into sports, and also sports again, and in returns has very good ROI, return on investment, and it's giving them just as it should. And so with enough of investment that the UK government now has pumped into sports today, now I think the government might not necessarily have to put anything into sport before they even get something from sport in the UK.
I mean, like they say, Rome was not built in a day. You're talking about UK. It's been
there
100 years of building, and they're at a place where they can just relax and say, yes, we've done something good. And that's why when it comes to football, Europe is like the hub of football. But Africa is also thriving. But we are not there yet. Why? Why do you think the only nation that has hosted the World Cup is South Africa? And you talked about the fact that, they obviously have a stadium of 92,000 capacity. And they've been the only nation in Africa to have even dared to try and like host the World Cup.
And they did it well.
And they did it perfectly
because that's one World Cup that was very loud as well.
It had so much attention, different reasons. And and the next time we'll be seeing an African host the World Cup will be like in 2030 when Morocco co-hosts.
And they're not just hosting it alone, they are co-hosting it with Spain and Portugal.
Yeah, I think Africa still needs to do more. And the thing is, most of the funding, if there's like 100% funding allocation for sports in general, I feel like, I don't want to say 80, but 70% will go to football. And I'm thinking, why? I feel like football is like the easiest, maybe the cheapest kind of sport, and
it's more relatable.
It's relatable because
like I was watching one of the interview of the national head of rugby, right? And it was saying that in Africa today, there's almost no streets that you go to that you will not see a child holding football. And in truth, since I watched the interview, I was trying to like look around. Be conscious of it. Exactly. And you just see, I remember growing up to start with, you just, during weekends on Saturday morning, you see that people will block road and then they're playing ball in the middle of the road. And today now it's not like that anymore. But then there was a day I was going back home from work. I saw some kids playing football on the road, some with ball some of them have boots. Like football is already accessible to them, right? There's sports
you can just fold your socks as a small kid, like fold add clothes inside, wrap it, and you use it.
I mean, there's also the one of paper, right? Where we'll squeeze paper together, use sellotape to tie it, bind it around.
There's no rule to football. Just pass the ball.
Pass
the ball. Unlike other sports, like I'm sure most people don't even understand basketball. We don't understand cricket, especially in this part of the world, and rugby, right? And I feel like it shouldn't be so. I feel like there's so many sports.
There are a lot of sports.
I wonder how many sports we have in the world. I'm still curious to your question.
No, I'm not going to spill.
Well, wait, can I change my answer?
No, you can't.
Leave it now.
You've blocked it in.
Okay, I think another challenge is that we're going to talk about is lack of grassroots development. You see, in the cases where you talked about how football, number one, is the most relatable. We can also talk about the grassroots levels. You know, most of these raw talents start from the grassroots. And nobody really look back to say, okay, where is this person that can do this, that can play like Drogba or that can play like JJ Okocha. You know, most of these people, we have them in the trenches, but nobody is actually seeing them. You get, so these rural areas are housing a lot of talent, but most of these organizations that are supposed to like fish out or get these kids are not doing so. So it's just like we're just focusing on the high ranked people that have made it to the top and all that. So
let me react to what she just said.
Yeah.
Now, do you know how many talents we have here? Let me use Nigeria because I'm Nigerian. In Nigeria, like so many talent. And that's why when I go out for events and I see someone like, I wanted to be a footballer, but
yeah, you always get that.
I heard it yesterday.
Wow.
He was like, my original talent was football. I even traveled to Tanzania. It didn't work out. Now I'm like facing my reality.
Wow.
It shouldn't be so. Do you know how many football academies we have in Nigeria? There are so many.
Exactly.
But how many people come out of it becoming superstars? One.
Like,
And
one
in a
of,
1,000.
yes.
And that 1 in 1,000 is grace. Obviously.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, so someone was talking about Awaziem. I don't know if you know Awaziem, the Nigerian footballer.
Yes.
He came out from academy in Abuja, right? He made it big. And someone was saying, oh, he's still in that academy. And Awaziem has already gone far in his career. And he's still playing football. He's already approaching 30. And you know football has like
exactly very
time
short.
frame.
In fact,
It's very short.
Sports in general.
The problem here in Africa, and that's why do you think people travel? Didier Drogba, he talked about how his father bonded him or put him inside a plane, wrote something on his clothes. So when he gets to France, he traveled as a 5-year-old kid. Because they knew if he just crosses that border, gets to France in Europe,
be able to do
Europe
better.
where football is being appreciated, his talent, we harness his talents well. That's why Drogba is who he is today. Because why? He went to Europe, but not everybody has that opportunity to travel to Europe. And that's why so many people are languishing, wasting their talent in our academies here in Nigeria. How do we fix that? That's why we are here.
Exactly.
How
That's
do
why
we
it's getting to the solution. Like, in terms of grassroots, right? I think the UK, the Europe that we're talking about, like they have so much grassroots programs. And I know that in English Premier League, for example, now you have to have a certain number of homegrown players in your team. Like, it is very important. You cannot say that, okay, I take everybody, I just buy this one from here, and then just form your team. You also have to ensure that you must have groomed some players from the very beginning in your what's it called, in your club, right? That's why they have youth academy, they have under 10 self, like, so it's more like you are growing into the whole sport, and then the sport becomes part and parcel of you. So and I think same in Africa, right? It's also important. I would also stress that as some countries are already on track. For example, in Morocco, in the last World Cup, I think 14 out of 26 players that were in that particular team for the World Cup were from outside, while the remaining were those that were homegrown. And you can see how Morocco performed in that. Like, Morocco became the talk of that World Cup at a certain point.
They were.
Everybody wanted to just identify with Morocco. And that's how it should be.
The only team that gave them a run for the money was Argentina and Messi winning the World Cup. But Morocco was really the center of attention.
Exactly. Like, they were like in the middle of everything that was just going on and on. So like, it's, if you could just, if we should come back to our team now in Nigeria, most of our players in Nigeria are not homegrown. But some of them don't even speak Nigerian English.
Okay, so sorry to cut short. Do you know how sad it is? If you check the Super Eagles squad, right? Our coaches would rather scout players who are already playing
exactly,
making it already there, and forget our local homegrown players. So how will the people playing the MPFL thrive? We have so many talents here in Nigeria that are waiting for someone to just come and harness it, but nobody, because we would rather trust those people that were groomed abroad. So that's why there will be a problem.
And do you know that the only time that we ever went far in the World Cup was when we used most of our homegrown players?
Yes. Okay, who scored the winning goal in the AFCON 2013? Sunday Mba. A homegrown player.
Homegrown players, like we are not yet seeing the strength that we have in having a very strong grassroots development program in terms of sports. I know we're talking majorly on what's it called?
Challenges.
Football now. Right?
Okay, so let me digress a little,
like
right?
Basketball. If you should look at basketball right outside now, we have Ghanaians. He's a Nigerian, although he didn't grow up here in Nigeria. Like someone was. I don't know if you've seen a picture of, he has a brother who grew up here in Nigeria. So if you see the picture of Ganis and the elder brother is like somewhere down here, and then Ganis is so tall. So
not just Yanis, I think Tenasis.
All of them are so
they are
tall.
way taller than the only one that was born in Nigeria.
Is just somewhere down there. Yeah. So someone was saying that if by mistake, right, that guy also
went abroad,
was born in Greece.
Exactly. He would have also been as tall as Giannis and would have been a very good basketball player. So and
he was the sacrificial lamb. That's how
I know, right? But like in the real sense of things, right? If we could just look for a way, like we have all of these things. I mean, if you should go to any sports center now, you see people in the evening, you see people playing volleyball, basketball, but there's no sport that you don't see someone that is playing any sports center that you go to today.
Do you know how? That's why I talked about funding. Most of the funding goes to football. At least football even has more hope, right?
Yeah,
we are complaining. Football has hope. Have you tried the MBBF? That's the basketball league in Nigeria. I went for an opening game one time at the Moshe Abiola Stadium. Do you know we had to wait for them to bring lights?
Oh God!
And the stadium is so bad. Really, have you watched an NBA game before? Let's say Lakers, Milwaukee Bucks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just imagine the picture you have in your head. Just try and compare what I saw that day. You wouldn't even call that basketball, but this people has talent.
Exactly.
The talent is there.
It's embedded
but
in
the
them.
infrastructure is bad. The government is even making it worse. I think they only give 1% funding to basketball at this point because why?
Well,
it's
this
so bad.
brings me to my next point about poor governance and corruption. Yeah. You know this song that one of our very own sang, "Mismanage My Funds on Me." This time around, they're actually mismanaging funds, like funds that are meant to, encourage athletes.
They're meant to go into development.
They're supposed to go into development and all that. They will divert the money to something else, or they even put it in their own pockets for their own selfish reasons. So it's quite unfortunate that by the time when these funds are being mismanaged, a lot of infrastructure that needs to be developed will become underdeveloped.
There's all the gist of athletes as well on the other end. Those ones, I think they usually face the brunt of it. Some of them have to fund themselves. I think even Super Eagles say, funny enough, we've heard stories of how they fund their meals and things like that. For athletes, we've heard stories of how the souvenirs that were given to them are being retrieved, a lot of things like that. All of these things are very sad.
I was opportune to interview one of the basketballers playing that game. I think he played for the Hoopers, if I'm not mistaken. And he said that the highest they pay, there's only one club or two that actually pay their basketball players in the MBBF, and they pay them highest 100,000 naira, 80 or 50.
Do you know basketball stadium might be very small, right? The whole thing might not just pass like this, right? But the energy that you need for basketball is like times 10 of what you need for football. Like, have you seen those guys who has they sweat?
That's why I said football is easier
it's only
compared to other sports.
That you see that you can sub in and sub out and go back again. But in football, once you sub out, you're not going in again. But see basketball, you can do that switch back and forth.
It goes to tell you how technical the sport is. And I feel like, yes, sports as a whole can bring, it's $1 billion enterprise.
It's $1 billion baby.
In fact, there's money in it.
Yes.
And I understand if they want to invest so much money in football, because yes, you will get more if you invest more in football. But believe me when I tell you, there are other sports. Now look at South Africa now. They don't do so well in football. Even when they hosted the World Cup, they crashed out in the group stages, right? But they've won the Rugby World Cup 4 times.
That is their
no,
own
they are
sports.
making money.
Yes.
Those are other sports, and I'm sure there are so many players that are so good in Nigeria, but they don't even know. They can excel in that sport.
Let me give you a gist. I actually learned how to play rugby while I was in school.
Wow.
Exactly. But one of the things that actually feared me so much was because one of our coaches then was explaining to us how he had an injury and it was very serious, that everyone was afraid for his life. So like, when they explained that thing to me, I won't lie, right? I said from that day on, I started to move a step back. Like, bro, I love my life so much. I don't like injuries.
So you don't want to just dare to dream big,
I can still play
and
rugby
just
regardless.
be someone great in that sport.
Anyways,
I'm still going to be someone great in something else.
Obviously, in other things.
My name is Paul, and this time, we're going to a short break now. Once we return, we'll continue the discussion on sport development here in Africa. I'll be right back.
Hey
everyone. Let's face it, our world today experiences numerous challenges. And guess what? Our community isn't off the hook either. Most of the world issues are either not talked about enough or never talked about at all. But here on Timeline, we've got you covered. We dive deep into issues that affect us every day, leaving behind footprints of wisdom, knowledge, and solutions. Think of it like a roadmap that keeps you on the track for success. So buckle up, because in this new season of Timeline, we're taking another trip through the past, the present, and navigate into a more promising future. Again, we're talking solutions, people. And let's make one thing clear. This is not your average blah, blah, blah convo. This is real talk with a side of inspiration and a sprinkle of wow. I never thought about it like that. I'm your host on this impactful ride. Together, we'll tackle the tough stuff, laugh a little, and find ourselves on the path to positive change. So what are you waiting for? Season 2 of Timeline will be loaded. Let's get started. Hop in, and let's drive straight into the heart of issues shaping our world. Let's go. Oh, one more thing. Hit that subscribe button and let's take this ride together.
Every day, amazing stories of hope and tenacity unfold across the globe. On Hued Hour, we dive into these inspiring tales and discuss the vital work being done in the humanitarian and development space. Humanity has never faced a shortage of challenges, yet we rise stronger through teamwork and determination. Though these remedies are often underreported, on Hued Hour, we advocate sustainable solutions. We bring you the latest and most impactful news on how lives are being changed. We engage with young change makers and experts who provide valuable insights into relief efforts and the challenges faced by local communities through a global perspective. Join us every Wednesday by 8 a.m. on Hued Network's YouTube channel as we embark on this journey of positive change.
Hi guys, and welcome back. It's your Timeline. We're talking about sport development in Africa. Earlier on, I asked the question, how many sports are there in the world? Option A, 200, option B, 8,000, option C, 4,000. John here chose option A with 200 and Dearest chose 4,000. Option
Can I
C,
change my option?
locked in already, remember?
Damn.
Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Me, I want to change my own.
I'm not sure there's room for change.
Alright. Okay.
Don't worry. You guys should relax, okay?
Nigerians will understand why I said 200.
I think she's right. 200 is.
But regardless, I would want to see your own take on that. Let's know how many sports you think there are in the world. Drop your own guess in the comment section and let's see if you're right or wrong at the end of all of this. So yes, we've talked about sports and how the challenges they are facing. And for me, I see all of these challenges as opportunities because there's a gap already and we've established that.
Yeah.
And with all of this gap, we could try to, if we can fill in the gaps, right, with probably new things that no one has thought of, right, we'll be able to be up to par.
Yeah. Sure.
And I mean, for sports now, sport has diverse roles. It plays a lot of things. And I'll start from what it does to the society. One thing that I love so much about when any nation plays, right, is the fact that it brings everyone in that nation together.
Yeah.
Unity.
From the top to the
Middle class.
Regardless of your tribe.
Regardless of your
religion.
tribe, your language. So when you identify as whatever country, as a member of whatever country, as a citizen, bruh, like you are so sure that once it's time for your country to play, you are, even if you're not going to watch, you will hear gists, like one way or the other. I think that was in we've seen even in the news, you see that the president is watching so much. Like it just shows that everyone is on board. And for Nigeria, for example, I love it so much when it happens that we play what the AFCON, even if it's a friendly match, all of us go gather. Like, I mean, the last AFCON, for example, now, everybody knew what was going on in the AFCON.
Yeah.
Like, in every place you are entering, every supermarket you are entering, every restaurant you're entering, every public transport you're entering, the discussion in everything is what happened the previous night when Nigeria was playing. And for me, it just brings national, what's it called?
Unity.
National unity.
National unity. Uniting everybody regardless of who they are.
One role that we need to really stress on, the role of sport in economic development. One of it is job creation. That's one part I am very, very excited about. You see that a lot of youths, people get to be employed at that point. I'll give an instance. Whenever there is a sport, first of all, we have the players, we have the coaches, we have the commentators, we have the referees, we have the production team, we also have the journalists as well. We have the doctors.
Exactly.
We have, in fact, everybody literally is involved, and you see that you get your own money from it. And irrespective of, we also have people too that also produce the
jerseys.
Exactly. You see, you sell. In fact, let me take for instance when I went to Moshood, they were even selling face cap, car keys, key holders, all those kind of things that will ginger you. And again, we're playing against Bafana, and everybody just wanted to feel the whole, yes, I'm a Nigerian, me, I'm a South African, and all that. So that can actually create job and bring money to bring food to your table.
You see, the interesting thing about sports is the fact that, just like she had mentioned, when there is a football match going on somewhere, it's not just the match, it's not just ticket sales that generate money.
Yeah.
Like, if you are going to go and watch a match, you obviously want to snack on something. You are getting drink, you are getting popcorn, you are getting whatever snack you're getting.
The person selling that.
Exactly. The person selling that has made money. You don't have a jersey. You surely see someone that is selling jersey right there. You buy jersey. That one too has made money. Like, it's a whole ecosystem. And in 2010, as far back as 2010, when South Africa hosted the World Cup, to shock you to note that South Africa generated about $3.5 million. 3.6 billion as of 2010.
You can imagine.
Like,
Money is still, they gave me small.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So we'll
share it after the show.
Okay.
Oh, you probably share money. It just shows that how much sports can generate. Like, I mean, Morocco that is going to host in 2030 now.
Yeah.
Even if they are co-hosting it,
it's money in the account.
You get
money.
The 1/4 that will be coming to them now is going to be like probably times 10 of this or times 200 of this, because sports in the real sense now has grown further than what we've seen.
Sports is a national cake. Like, everybody gets to partake of it. Journalists, sports journalists, because of the sport. If there's no sport, what will I be talking about? So yes, it has affected me in a way or impacted me in a way. But let me even talk about the athletes. Do you know where most of these athletes come from? We celebrate Cristiano Ronaldo today, but he comes from a small town in Madeira in Portugal, right? From a home where they struggle to even feed. But do you know what sport has done for him? Because he can pass the ball. He has changed his life, his family, his generation, everybody.
His community.
Let me even bring it to Nigerian athletes. Yobo, Jejo, Kocha, Kanuanko, so many people from a very low background. Today they are being celebrated because why? They had a talent and they harnessed it. And that's a testament to how sports can actually change one's life. So yes, sports is doing a lot. Because even if you can't speak English, you don't need certificate, you don't need any qualification to play the game. Just have talent. You know why I like sports? Sports is like hope for the hopeless.
Exactly.
You come from the wretched of the most wretched. You can't even speak anything.
You come from zero, basically.
Do you know that you don't even need to know how to talk well or speak well? You can even be very antisocial. Just have talent.
Yeah.
Your life with all the companies in this world, the biggest people in this world, the people that had first class, they will look for you. That's what sport does for an individual.
Exactly.
And that's when if you're watching this, if you have any talent, Continue
that's your
going.
talent.
Harness it. Don't see.
Don't
Even
go and
if even
sleep.
your mom, your dad tells you that go and get a life. Don't give up. Just keep going.
Just keep going, actually. And then there's also the thing of economic impact. Like, I mean, there's no way, we've mentioned so much on how sport has generated money with all of this, right? For example, in Peter's story now, it has elevated some people out of the poverty line.
Yeah.
And now obviously they are living above that particular line.
Exactly.
And it's just for them to just keep going, just like that.
Yeah.
In UK alone in 2021, right? The sports alone generated 2.5 of the country's total outputs, and that's about 99.6 billion pounds. That's a huge number.
That's quite huge, bro.
Let me even add to that, yeah? Now you compete in the World Cup. That's millions of dollars going into your nation's account.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now do you know how much Argentina took home after winning the World
win.
Cup? And they didn't win that money for themselves, for the nation.
Exactly.
So economically, sports,
Sport game money.
it's oil money.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
I know,
it's oil
right?
money.
It's like miracle.
And it comes very quick.
Okay, let me
actually.
just quickly digress a little. Do you know how much Victor Boniface would have earned if he had made that move to Saudi Pro League?
Exactly.
Billions.
Like, but the zeros were so long.
Oil money, blood money, sorry. Even his village people go for it. That's how much. And he doesn't need to be posh. He doesn't need to speak, the best English. You don't need all of that.
Just come as you are.
They don't care.
They don't care. Just come as you are.
And that's why I said sports is for the hopeless. Hope for the hopeless people. For even, not just hopeless, but people who feel like,
But anyways, let's not forget the fact that in as much as, yes, it is hope for the hopeless, I also have a scenario or a case study where someone who has actually... I had to acknowledge NEPA, thank you. Okay, so I have a scenario where there are people that are actually still very, very hardworking. They've put in all their energy in this sport line. And so far, their money has actually gone. Like, people have actually duped them. They'll promise them, okay, I'll take you abroad and all that. And they'll carry their money and they'll run away. So this thing is actually in two ways. It's not really as easy as we think it is. Because most of them have the talent, number one. They have the money too. Because to travel out of this country is not beans. Like, you're not cooking beans on fire. You have to have some money to leave, or you have somebody to sponsor you before you can leave.
Let
you
me
cannot
quickly
just leave
react
like
to
that.
what you said. No.
Yeah.
You can have talent, right? And that talent might go to waste.
Yes.
Now, if it was before, football was a bit fair. But right now, because of the kind of money in football, do you know what people do now? For the people that have money, even celebrities, politicians, they just take their children, put them in the Chelsea Academy.
This academy, that academy.
It. And now there's one Chukwuemeka that has been playing football for the longest, but no money to live, and talent goes to waste. And I said it earlier, even in the academies, hundreds of people are there, but just one or two. And those one or two, grace has to find you. Like, real grace. The kind of grace that found Awazim.
Locate you.
Grace has to literally call you Dearest. Come here. Because it's not easy, and there's nepotism. People would rather put their children there. Let's say the truth.
Yes.
If I'm the Atletico Madrid coach
Now
and I have a child, I'll put my child there. Me, Dearest, I will do that.
No,
And
don't say that, so that people will not feel.
I'm just saying, I will do that, and I'm sure so many people will do that because they feel like even if he doesn't have that talent, bring a private coach.
Exactly. It's going to be tough.
But if we are being honest, most of the English talents, right, they taught them football.
Exactly.
It's people like Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi, that we know. They were born. But there are so many English talent that I know that they were taught. Pass the ball like this, pass the ball like this, score a goal, score this free kick, and you're good to go.
See, I want us to use two case studies, of countries, right? That's Rwanda and Morocco.
Okay.
See, these two countries at the moment, they're both in Africa still, right? But in terms of sport development, these guys stand out so much. And it's so interesting to see that these guys are just different. For Morocco now, they said their plan in 2020. They had a 4-year plan that in the next 4 years, this is what we're going to do in terms of sports, develop all of our stadiums, make it bigger, strengthen our grassroots development programs. and they've done all of that. In fact, they're on track with that so much. And now that's why they won't have the mind to say that they want to host 2030 with Spain and Portugal.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to the AFCON.
I really want to see what they're going to do.
In Morocco, yeah.
In fact, Morocco, right, for them, football is like what it is in Brazil, in Morocco as well, because for them it's part of they see that as part of their culture as well. So it's more like they have very big stadiums, they have huge fan base when it comes to even their local league, right? That's another thing that they did again. They strengthened 2 divisions in their local league, meaning that and not just that, they set salary structures for every member of the team, coaches, technical team, and all of that to ensure that everybody that is going to be in the chain of supply is going to be able to feed well. Rwanda, on the other hand, I think they majorly focused on infrastructure. And even with that infrastructure that they've just focused on alone, they already have their returns already coming in.
I love that.
No issue. This year in September, they're going to be hosting the UCI World Cycling Championship. That's going to be a very big event. It's more like the World Cup for cycling, basically. And everybody's going to be in Kigali in September. And that's going to bring enough of money because obviously it's about a week or thereabouts. And that's a lot of money
not just money, attention to the media coverage, many things.
Enough of development as well will be going into all of those things. So these 2 countries, right, they did it in different ways, but at the end of the day, they're both getting results that they wanted.
Nigeria should learn a thing or two from them.
I know, even in fact, this Rwanda we're talking about, one other thing that they've also hosted, right, the inaugural game for the African Basketball League, it was in Rwanda. So like you see that these guys are just on that path to ensure that sport becomes a thing for them.
And they are being consistent about it.
Exactly.
Well, I will not forget Kenya. You know, Kenya is one of the leading countries when it comes to long run.
Anything long distance.
East
long
Africans,
distance.
I give it to them.
Yeah. So, and one thing about them is they reach out to the grassroots. Most of these players, they come from the grassroots. So this is just like me saying, let other countries embrace grassroots development because it's very, very important. It doesn't make sense where we go outside, pay outsiders to come and play for our country, whereas we have raw talents.
And sometimes they are so nonchalant about playing for their nation.
Yeah.
We need people who are hungry to actually play, and you see them in the grassroots level.
Exactly.
So we should.
I'm not saying no, but even though you even give them little things, they will even appreciate it more than the ones that you go and pay a huge amount of money and they will come and play nonsense for
I
you.
also like what Al Ali, the Egyptian league, is doing. But one club I like, Al Ali, because I follow them on across all social media platforms. I see what they are doing, even in their social media. The league itself, it's amazing. They've gathered almost 100 million followers across all social media platforms. They are doing so well. They'll be playing the Club World Cup. That's why they're always winning the CAF competition, because everything, infrastructure, funding, it just works for them. Not our league where players will be traveling from Enyimba, that's Abia State, to Kano, and you will get robbed, or they will attack you.
Exactly.
Can we let's do it right? We cannot be giant of Africa for mouth now.
And if you could actually have more reforms in terms of our structures, in terms of leadership when it comes to sports, I feel like all of those things would just work.
I don't want to be talking about the South African league.
Like I was trying not to mention because those guys stream every of their league. You can watch it if you want to. Like it's so.
I mean, Premier League, when they have their own local league.
Exactly.
For me, let's not lie, I'd rather watch Premier League.
EPL.
But I'm Enyimba for life. But my point is, we need to do better for our own league. Like, we really need to. This is Nigeria now.
Okay, so because we're already running out of time now, so quickly on the final note, what would you say on this topic? Okay,
so let me just go first. To fix all of this, I'm just going to say this. Instead of Thames investing our money in San Diego, in America, bring that money to the Lagos. What's that club in Lagos?
Sporting Lagos.
Thank you. Invest it there. It starts with you, Thames. Thames, it starts with you. Once you bring that money, you're taking San Diego and bring it down here. And Aliko Dangote was saying he wants to buy Arsenal. Leave Arsenal, try Enyimba of Aba.
Exactly.
Arsenal does not
try
need...
Canopilas.
Oh, God bless you. it's just like a king does not announce himself, right? Arsenal cannot beg you or tell you reason to buy Arsenal. You'll be the one bidding to buy Arsenal. If we can make our league look so beautiful, decorate it to a point
Beautify
where
our league.
when someone comes, they don't need to ask question. How much is Enyimba? $1 billion. Take the
Bam.
money. Boom. That's what I want to see in our own local league here in Nigeria.
The way Dearest is talking, it's a very, very, I see your strength. I see that you're very, very energetic about it. And Thames, I don't know why you are carrying our money and be going
San
outside.
Diego.
I don't know, but you'll bring that money back. Even the one you have spent. But anyways, this is mine. Public-private partnership. People should invest in sports, not just football alone. Other sports should not suffer because football is what we like so much, but other sports are also very important. They can actually generate revenue for us, like more than we expected. Yeah, I expect rather. So people should actually understand that they should invest in other sports activities, and I think we'll be good to go. And as for me, I will try and
Support people.
Support them.
I'm still thinking the club I want to buy.
And you see that money that they gave me for.
Me, I want to coach someone.
I'll put it in.
Or be an agent.
I'll go and invest in Kano Emirates.
All right.
But I think that's all we have to take on timeline today on the topic sport development. So the answer to the question is actually 8,000. So there are 8,000 indigenous sports in the world. However,
200 is
there are only 200 that are recognized
I want it.
internationally.
I want it.
So how much is the money?
Give me my money.
Let's know how much.
Paul, give me my money.
None of you got it right.
No, I got it now. You say
200 is recognized internationally.
Recognize, that's what matters.
internationally.
And I asked for how many sports are there in the world.
Paul,
Listen to the question next time.
give me my
It's
money.
been a lovely ride.
No, it's not.
Okay, just tease us. What would we have won if we had gotten it right?
Probably data or something, something just.
This one is very expensive.
Exactly.
But
But we all tried though.
Yeah, you tried. There's no price for trying. I mean, there's no cup for the second.
And he's right. People only cares about results.
Exactly, it's just the result that matters.
Anyways.
I guess that's all we have to take on sport development. Try to support grassroots programs is very important. Anyone that you see that is playing football, support them in a little way you can. And let's also try to invest so much in terms of infrastructures. We need that so much if we are to elevate our sports to world-class level. I mean, we're getting there, but we can do better. Lagos Marathon actually has international recognition as well now. So just mention that on the side. So
All right.
if
We're getting there.
Exactly. It's poco a poco.
yeah, it's
And then tomorrow we'll find ourselves just there. But we have to ensure that our little is consistent. My name is Paul, and that's all we have to take here on Timeline. With me here was
Jonese.
And Dearest the bad.
Thanks
The
for coming
beautiful
around,
Dearest.
Dearest. Bye, guys.
Bye guys.